You're an idiot. She's such an idiot. She's already fallen off today. You've already fallen off today.
Ew, Sylvie's nail is stuck to Nova's wet tail.
What?
Good morning, my lovelies. I am here to start a new vlog. I've already read some books, but I'll tell you about them when I get back because there's margin changes for the stock market. I'm not going to be home. Oh no. Oh God. Anyway, as I was saying, I am going out today. I'm taking my mum to see Project Hail Mary, and I'm picking some books up from the City Library. I did already do a tarot card pull. I'll show you the card. So I got the Eight of Wands, and the theme for Eight of Wands is pick a short book or a novella. So I have done that. I will quickly go and get my Kobo so we can see what the last book on there was, so I can do a clear out. I won't read what it's about yet because I do have to skadoosh, and I've got to charge this. Okay, so I said to Chanel, if I'm not doing Get Real Weird with it in its own dedicated vlog anymore, if I pull up a weird book, we're going to read the weird book in this vlog. And we've got one. We've got The Tower by William Pauly III. We will read what that's about when I get back, but I'll see you on the other side of the film.
No, this one, I thought I'd talk to you and
Just waiting for my mum, but that movie, 4.75 stars. Loved it. It's as good as everyone is saying it is. Just a really good, entertaining piece of cinema. Here's my mama. Hello guys, I am back. I survived. I've been gone for 9 hours, walking around everywhere, and it's a hot day, and no pots episode. Good things. It's been a week since my shroom trip, and I still have no pain. And lots of spoons, so things are looking good. Things are looking up. I will tell you about everything. So first of all, Project Hail Mary, fantastic. My mum admitted to me when we were just about to walk in that she actually had no interest in watching this movie. She does not like sci-fi movies. I'm like, why did you agree to come watch it, Mum? And she said, because I just wanted to spend time with you. But I said to her in the future, if you don't like the choice of movie, just give me some options. We can watch something we both want to see. But guess what? She fucking loved it. She's like, I never would have chosen to watch this. And that was an amazing movie. We laughed, we cried. They did a really good job. I am surprised they did reveal one of the twists in the book in the trailer, and that is that it does involve contact with alien life. So they did spoil that, but it was just very well done. I thought it was a good adaptation of the book, albeit I haven't read that book in a very, very long time, but fantastic film, 4.5 stars. It's just really entertaining and enjoyable. And like I said, you do run the gamut of emotions, and it doesn't feel like it drags or anything's really unnecessary. It was a delight, and it was wonderful to go gold class. Treated ourselves today because I got cheap gold class tickets ages ago for something, and the voucher has just been sitting in my emails, and I finally got to use it today. So we got to put our legs up, and I had some beautiful sweet potato fries, which were chef's kiss. And the rest of my day went wonderfully as well. So before leaving, I asked the universe to give me a little gift today, something unexpected, a little present. Gimme, 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 I want to receive. And it did. I got 2 surprise gifts. So actually more if you think about it, I'll tell you in a second. So the first thing I did was I went after the movie to Lush to buy a Yoshi egg bath bomb for Indiana for Easter, because the Easter bunny is coming tomorrow. And so it's a big Yoshi egg, and inside there's something like a jelly or something. And then when I went to check out, I got this Happy Hippie shower gel sample. So I was like, a little present. Yay. And I thought, that was my gift for the day. I went to Mecca for Valentine for her Easter bunny gift to get her the new Sol de Janeiro scent. And I didn't know. So when I walked in, this is their flagship store in the city, the line was almost to the door. And I'm like, what's going on today? And I thought, because it's Easter weekend, 4-day weekend, people must be coming in now before it's closed. That's just what I thought. But no, it was chock-a-block because they had a giveaway today. Pretty much, if you're a member of Mecca, which I am, you get a free box of goodies. So I got this. I don't know what this is, so I'm going to open it up. I did hear that Mecca was bought by Estee Lauder, so I think they now test on animals, but I didn't pay for this. Oh, okay, makeup setting spray. I've never used that. I'll see how that works. So that's exciting, but so Valentine gets one of these as well because she was also a member, so I got her box for her. We get a tin. Sounds like there's actually something inside, but it's actually a very pretty tin. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'll find some use for it. Let's see what's inside. Oh, there's goodies inside. Oh, perfume! Forest Lungs by the New Co. So what does this have in it? It is inspired, inspired by Shinrin Yoku, which is the Japanese art of forest bathing. And it's supposed to boost your parasympathetic nervous system to calm you. It doesn't tell me what the ingredients are, but it looks like it's got cinnamon, geranium, lemon, coumarin. I feel like that is an animal extract, if I recall. But anyway, that's there. We've got a Goodnight Balm, Sleep In for Skin, upcycled tea tree oil, and Australian kangaroo paw flower nectar. This is for your face. Japanese grape extract. Okay, so this is for facial massage. And then we've got, Molecule 101. So this is a perfume. So this is Isotope E, I think is what it's called. Iso E Super. And it's a molecule that changes scent based on your own skin chemistry. So it smells different to everybody. I've tried a few of these and they range from like musky to woody on me. So we'll see what this one ends up smelling like on me. I'll test that out. And we've got another makeup setting spray. This time it's Urban Decay. So I'll let you know how the setting spray goes. I've never done that before. I wonder if the other box is the same. I'm just going to have a look to see if it's identical. Yes, absolutely identical. So another unexpected gift. And then I thought that I would fill up petrol because the government announced that after Easter they were going to do fuel rationing, which I think hasn't happened here since the 80s. So I was like, oh, I don't know what that means exactly, but I'll go and fill up. And when I went to fill up, the petrol had dropped like 30 cents a litre because a fuel excise has been put into place. And it was, under $2.50 to fill up my tank. We'd been up at the $3 mark. So that was another extra gift and I like it. I like it a lot. All of my presents, unexpected presents. Now let me tell you about everything else I have consumed since I last saw you. So I watched some more movies. I did see Suburban Gothic. This is about an unemployed man who can talk to spirits and he joins forces with a local bartender to hunt down a vengeful ghost that is terrifying their town, but especially his family, because some remains were found on his dad's estate and I'm going to sneeze. But yes, I had Matthew Grubler, who's just a cutie. I find him very cute, and Kat Dennings, who always plays Kat Dennings in every film she's ever been in. I thought it was really fun. I give this a 4 stars. It was just a silly, goofy, campy time, and I enjoyed it. And then I saw Forbidden Fruits, which is like a new pink horror movie that is about a group of girls who are sort of part of this very witchy femme cult in the basement of a mall store after hours. And they hire someone new to complete their coven, and she challenges their very performative sisterhood, and they're all forced to face their own poison and succumb to a bloody fate. This was giving definitely Mean Girls crossed with The Craft and Scream Queens. That was the vibe. The wigs were bloody awful in this movie. I'm sorry. awful wigs. And this whole movie just did not make sense to me in terms of the plot. The characters were very inconsistent, and I didn't understand some of their motivations or behaviors or choices. It was just really confusing. I really wanted to love this, to have like a silly, fun, fashionable femme time, but I ended up giving it a 2.5 stars. It got really gory right at the end. Out of nowhere, all of the violence came. And I'm like, geez Louise. But yeah, I was just left confused. So 2.5 stars, but Lily was super hot in this movie. And then I watched Lady Bird, which I actually had never seen. And this is a coming of age. You've got a senior who is navigating ups and downs in her relationships while she's applying for college and trying to figure out who she is. It's definitely a lot focused on mother-daughter relationships and sort of, I don't want to say toxic relationships, but just issues of miscommunication and friction. But I liked it. It's a 4-star movie for me. I enjoyed it. I'm just going to put my hair up in a clip because it's actually very, very hot. Oh my God, I forgot to say, if you don't know what Project Hail Mary is, it's a sci-fi movie about a high school teacher who is sent to save the world from the dying of the sun, and he is on a suicide mission, meaning he will not be able to return and will perish in space, but he's humanity's last hope for survival. And he's not really a willing hero, let's just say that. And yeah, he ends up getting help from an alien to solve the problem. But yes, great movie. But let me tell you about all of the books that I've read thus far, and then I've got a little library haul as well. So I picked up The Moon Raven by Grace Draven. This is about a fugitive code breaker who has to team up with a battle mage, and it turns out they used to date back in the day. So our main character, Dasaris, is a human cipher. She can read anything, babes. Ain't no language, no code she can't crack. And she's in hot demand because there is a war going on and both sides want her to get the upper hand. And her ex is Bron, aka the albino Moon Raven. And he has wind magic that can just destroy armies. And so together they have to cross hostile lands to save Dasaris' sister and stop a blood-soaked prophecy from coming to pass. But the greatest challenge ain't the enemy. It's overcoming the fractured trust and betrayal between them whilst fighting their undeniable chemistry. This is touted as a slow burn, second chance romance. I gave it a 3 stars. Normally Grace Draven and I, like this, she my girl. I normally eat up everything she writes. She has a tendency to also make at least one of her main characters very unattractive, or at least unconventionally attractive, but let's be real, mostly they're uggos. In this case, our albino main man, beautiful in the female protagonist's eyes, but he is an albino and he has a massive scar across half of his face. So that's the disfigured character in this one. This didn't really do it for me, and I knew going in it might not. I'm not a huge fan of second chance romance. It always depends, why did they break up? And in this case, very bad miscommunication on Dasaris' part. All of this could have been avoided if she just told this very powerful man what was going on and worked together to find a solution. But no, she did not. She just thought, I just need to protect him, and this is how I'm going to protect him. I'm going to break his heart and betray him and not speak to him for 20 fucking years, but hold a candle for him the entire time, and he's going to be brokenhearted and not get over me and have trauma. They were also childhood friends to lovers, so became best friends at the age of like 6 and fell in love with each other when they were teenagers. But like I said, this other element pulls them apart. It's, I did this for your own good. And he's like, why couldn't you just fucking tell me what was going on? Why'd you make me think that you're a bitch? So yeah, it's ex-lovers to reluctant allies to oops, accidentally fell onto your dick vibes. They're both lovely people, but I just really hate the miscommunication trope. It annoys the bejesus out of me. There's no reason why these people had to be separated, why they both had to suffer for 20 years apart. And this was just lacking something. It didn't feel like a Grace Draven book. I don't know what exactly it was missing to not feel that way, but yeah, this one ended up just being 3 stars, but that's okay. I then picked up the short book, which I got for the tarot card pull that I did the night before because I couldn't wait. And I chose Tear Tracks by Malka and Older. So in this one, we have a character named Fleur, and Fleur has been training Rocky style her own life for one task, and that is to be humanity's bridge to an alien species on a foreign planet, which is unlike anything Earthlings have ever known. She wants to be part of that first contact team, but communication ends up faltering because of difference between their culture and ours. So Fleur, yeah, she was a very eager beaver. She really wanted to prove her salt. That's not probably the right way to phrase that. But she ended up sort of fucking it up a little bit, because these aliens, turns out, so these aliens are a cyclops looking alien. They've got the one big eyeball on the middle of their face, and then they wear a mask to cover the rest of their face, and they've got some tentacle fingers going on, and their planet was very different as well. A lot of weird water that doesn't really follow the viscosity, gravity, physical properties of human water. So it was cool to see this alien planet and these alien beings. But these aliens revere suffering and sadness. Every single figure in power on this planet has a tragic backstory, bro. Tragicest. Tear tracks running down your face is a badge of honor. So they do scarification where they have permanent tear tracks running down their face. And Fleur realizes right at the end, like, why her first attempt at establishing a treaty between humans and these creatures didn't go well, and that's because she didn't trauma dump. She should have trauma dumped all over them. Wearing your pain is a badge of honor in this society. And Fleur didn't go solo. They sent a black gay man down with her because they thought, these aliens might appreciate diversity, bruh. But no, they just want fucking emos. They should have sent some emos down there. Things would have gone much better. Some sad sacks, some Eeyores. But yeah, this was just an okay book. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. And then I picked up a book that I received thanks to donations from my viewers. So this was Abby Jimenez's The Night We Met. So this is her second in the series. This edition comes with sprayed edges and some beautiful end papers that feature fireworks. This is about how one small choice after a concert splinters the main character Larissa's life into thoughts of what ifs. She meets 2 men after a concert and she chooses one to drive her home, and that's the one she ends up dating, and he's fine. He's fine. But his best friend, the other guy who she could have gone home with, now he's quite a man indeed. So we have Larissa, our main girl, Chris, the best friend, the better choice, and Mike, her current boyfriend, who's a bit of a mess, a bit of a fixer-upper. Chris is too much of a good guy to make a play at all for Larissa, and it's his passivity and his lack of courage, I guess, in the beginning that loses him the girl. If he had just been a bit more confident and proactive, things could have worked very differently, but he sort of left it up to her, and his lack of interest, which was what she perceived it as. She perceived it as a lack of interest, made her choose Mike instead, even though she also, when they first met all together, preferred Chris, but she thought Chris didn't really want to drive her home and she was misreading the vibes and went home with Mike instead. And then there was another chance very early on where he could have very much stolen the girl before she became someone else's girl, and he fumbled it again because he's not very proactive when it comes to pursuing a woman. So I went into this knowing that this is probably not going to be for me, because I do not like romances where the main characters are in already established relationships. Anything that even smells like the faintest whiff of infidelity or disloyalty turns me off. As someone who has been cheated on, I don't like it. I'm like, I don't really see any excuse, even if the person you're with is horrible. Break up first and then pursue something else. Don't ever do anything where there's like a crossover. You know what I mean? Like they cannot ever overlap. Those are the lowercase, but they've got to wait their turn. I thought this was going to be very much like that scene in Love Actually with the best friends, like, hey, I'm actually in love with you. And I was like, oh, but she's definitely not going to leave your best friend for you. So I don't really see how it was a good thing to tell her that you love her. But yeah, the main problem in this is Chris. He puts everybody else's happiness above his own, and that's why he missed the chance with Larissa when he could have had it. And the reason that she chooses Mike, she's not really choosing Mike. She's choosing Chris. All of the things that she likes about Mike are actually Chris. So Mike is not considerate. He is self-sabotaging. He's got addiction issues. And every good thing that he does for Larissa was at Chris's prompting. It was Chris who told him, you need to do this, you need to do that. You need to protect her from her nut allergy, blah, blah, blah. So all the things she did like about Mike were not Mike, they were Chris. So really, she didn't like Mike at all. So that was how this was done. Like, well, they were never a good couple because none of it was real. It was all Chris the entire time and not Mike. But Mike did get real feelings for her and he did love her. So that's where it was a bit yucky. And even though Chris and Larissa didn't do anything physically until after she'd broken up with Mike, and for a very good reason. What Mike did was pretty unforgivable, in my opinion. It was like close to negligent homicide, manslaughter, not homicide, negligent manslaughter, and justifiable reason to break up. But like I said, it's messy, bro. Like dating your best friend's ex-partner, it's like if they hadn't slept together, I'd be like, okay, different story. But no, they were together for a full 10 months. It's an actual relationship, you know, even though she was always lukewarm about him, because like I said, the only parts she liked about him were the things that he did that were prompted by Chris. So look, I've given this a 4 stars. I read it in a single day. I read this right after my book slump with A Beast Links Towards Beijing, and this got me out of the book slump. It was just so readable. I read it in a single sitting, very easy to read. It was warm and lighthearted. Not that warm. It still contains your typical Abby Jimenez amount of trauma and addiction issues with characters. That seems to be her shtick. That's her stuff that she puts in there. But there was also a thing thrown in where Chris ends up adopting this stray dog that likes to kill other animals. They call him Frieren. And he kills a lot of other animals. And I'm like, I don't find this cute and quirky. It's actually really gross and horrible. I know he's a dog and animals kill other animals, but I don't want to read about it over and over and over and over again. Oh, what animal did he eviscerate this time? So I think it could have done without that. So yes, this was a 4 stars, but still, it was a great bust slumper. And I will read anything Abby Jimenez writes, anything. So yeah, I bought this knowing it probably wasn't going to be my jam going in because of the setup with how these characters get together, but it's a lovely romance. And then I went to the library. So let me show you my haul. I have The Forest on the Edge of Time by Jasmine Kirkbride. So this was one of my most anticipated reads. It says 11/22/63 meets the Bone Clocks. I know the Bone Clocks. What's 11/22/63? Don't know. This is a piece of time travel climate fiction. So someone has been recruited to change history and save the future from ecological disaster. Echo and Hazel are transported through time to opposite worlds. Echo is going back in time to ancient Athens, and Hazel is now the last human alive in a laboratory on a polluted island with nothing but AI for company. They both have amnesia, but when they fall asleep, their consciousnesses transcend time and they meet in their dreams. Sounds interesting. I've also got The Ghost Women. Sylvie likes to knock over her food bowls. Don't know why. The Ghost Women by Jennifer Murphy. It says the cards read death. An art academy in the woods, a deck of ancient tarot cards, and centuries-old secrets. So it's 1972. The body of a student is found hanging from the tree, and he's been posed to emulate the Hanged Man in the Tarot Arcana card. So we've got a bit of a mystery going on, and dark academia and tarot cards. Then I've got Innamorata by Ava Reid. I'm not sure about this one. Ava Reid and I, most of the time, strike out. So this is going to be my last chance for this author. It says, this is a gothic fantasy about necromancy. I love that. Vengeance and soul-consuming love. Once there was an island where the dead walked the earth and 7 noble houses ruled by the arcane secrets of necromancy. A conqueror's blade brought them low, burning their libraries, lords, and extinguishing their eldritch magic. But defiance against the new order stands the House of Teeth and its last living members, Maratsia and her cousin, the uncanny lady Agnes. Look, I don't want to read any more than that, but I thought I'd give it one more shot. And then we've got Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. So this is a romance. How do you find yourself after you lose the one you love the most? Oh yes, this is like a grief romance. So Lenny's best friend has passed away and she's avoiding everybody. And the only thing she can handle now is babysitting a precocious 7-year-old. She's acting like she's fine, but she's really falling apart. The only issue is Ainsley's uncle, so that's a 7-year-old, is always there and is kind of a huge jerk. He's just trying to help her live again. We'll see how we go. Not really a huge fan of contemporary romances. Like I said, I've got my author, Ava Jimenez here, who serves it for me. But every now and again, I like to try books that everybody seems to be raving about. And then we've got Infinite Life, a revolutionary story of eggs, evolution, and life on Earth by Jules Howard. Each animal on the planet owes its existence to one very simple but crucial piece of evolutionary engineering: the egg. So we'll see that. That might be a bit fun. And then we've got Witchcraft by Soleil Otero. 3 mysterious sisters dancing at the knife's edge of benevolent and malevolent lie at the heart of witchcraft, a maelstrom swirling together horror and comedy, magic and religion, colonialism and indigenous folklore. And the last haul is The Faithful Dark by Kate Baumer. In a holy walled city where sin and sanctity are revealed through touch, Scylla, a girl born without a soul, is worth little to the church, but when a series of murders corrodes the faithful magic protecting the city, the elders see a use for her flaw. She can assassinate their subject, a heretic with divine heritage, without risking the stain of sin. So that's what I've got going on for me, and I'll see you soon, babes.
No, he's been sucking on her tail.
Oh.
Yeah, scorpion tail.
Okay, so I haven't read anything yet, but I just got text that my kids have landed back in Australia, so that is wonderful. Both of them are sick. So Indiana has croup. They've already had to get steroid drugs for her to get her through the night. She gets this all the time, even though she's 11. Anytime she gets any sort of sickness, it turns into croup after. Unfortunately, they said she just has overreactionary lungs. And now my eldest, Valentine, has just told me that she feels like she's got a fever, her throat's sore, she can't swallow. So they're coming back sick. Pray for me, guys. Pray for me that I don't get whatever it is that they've got. I'm guessing it's laryngitis if my other daughter also has no voice and a sore throat and a fever. And like I said, and the youngest has turned into croup. So yeah, so much for our Easter weekend. I'm going to be taking care of sick kids, but pray for me. I'm already drinking some tea with honey and lemon, and I'm dosing myself with vitamin C and zinc in preparation for the jams. I'm going to have to stop feeding the birds. They're starting to bring like their whole families, and in this economic climate, I can't do it anymore. We're all homesick, but it is Easter, and my beautiful, beautiful neighbours got us all these Lindt chocolates. If you live in Australia right now, you know how ridiculous the Lindt prices are, like through the roof. For one little bunny, they were wanting to charge everybody $40. And then nashies from their tree. I love my neighbours. I'm so blessed. Good morning, guys. So we're on day 5 of the sickness, down with the sickness. And thank God, thank goodness, it didn't get me. I dodged it. And I think it's only because I had a whole week of resting and feeding myself and relaxing that I was strong enough to dodge the germs. But yeah, my kids are still quite sick, but I think we've reached the bottom, and now they're going to get better every day going forward. So the worst is over, and hopefully, yeah, we'll actually be able to do something these school holidays once they have completely recovered. But while I've just been playing nurse to some sick kids, I have read quite a few books, so let's go. That's Bubbles playing with some marbles. I don't want to take away her joy, so we're just going to have to deal with the background noise. So first I'm going to update you with some DNFs. So I did DNF The Forest on the Edge of Time. So the characters were just really bland, and the book itself was incredibly slow, and the writing was so convoluted and dry and just not for me. The style of writing was just not for me. and I just didn't care about anybody in this book. It did remind me a little bit of This Is How You Lose the Time War, but less poetic writing, obviously. So I did DNF that one, and then I was reading The Tower by William Pauly III, which was my Kobo Cull pick, and it was a get real weird with it book. This was about residents who live in the 8th block, and they're all going nuts because there's radiation in the walls. There's radiation in the walls. There's radiation in the walls, man. This was really repetitive and just doing nada for me. Zip, zilch. Just, it was a nothing burger of a book. So, DNF'd it. And then the universe smiled upon me. I asked them for a gift and they gave it. And I got Frieren 14 by Kanehito Yamada. It came in. So, this is a series about an elf and some mages who try to do good, and the elf is always learning more about what it means to be human along the way, especially the power of friendship. In this particular installment, it was a lot about a murder mystery in the imperial capital. There was a lot of assassination plots going on, and they were mostly targeting the legendary mage and elf Ciri. And it was just very much all spies versus assassins versus magical informants versus Frieren's gang. The best thing about this book, I ended up giving it 3.7, which I think is one of the lowest rated books. Sorry, that was a text message from my daughter. She thinks her dad broke her SIM card. Anyway, yeah, I didn't love this one, but some old faces returned, which was just a delight. I was happy to see them. But there were also a lot of new faces, like a lot of new characters were introduced. So it was a bit of an info dump, but still happy to be back in the world. And then I got an arc from NetGalley, and that was Turncloak by L.K. Stephen. This is the second in the series. If you recall, I gave the first one, Silvercloak, a 5-star. So I was thrilled to get my hands on this ahead of time. I just realized I haven't cleaned up my nails after painting them. Anywho, so in this world, so I don't want to tell you too much about this sequel, but an overview of this world is it's wand magic. They do have their own Avada Kedavra, I don't even remember it anymore, version of that, but the magic is refueled by pleasure or pain. So it's a bit BDSM-y. Everybody is bisexual in this. And we have two very morally grey characters. There is also a very mafia crime gang element in this particular book, and our main boy is the leader of this crime gang, and our main girl was a sort of special forces CIA agent, if you will, who went undercover in the crime gang to try and take them down, but oh my god, she caught feelings for the man, and now she's conflicted. This does also include time magic. That is an element. There's some good doggies, a lot of messy feelings and relationships. Saffron really is trying to turn back time and make things better. She is an orphan. She's got her own Batman backstory and just a lot of trauma. Everybody's got a lot of trauma in this book. We have Levan as our main male character. He's a sexy mafioso who is reevaluating his romance with Saffron after she stabs him in the back repeatedly. So many times. He's a pincushion at this point. And then unfortunately we get some other POVs, which I did not care for. So we have Aurea, who is a magic detective, former friend of Saffron, who's just ready to burn everything down after she experiences her own tragic losses. And also we've got the fucking clown, Harrow, who's a rent boy that Levin used to like to bang, but he's also a rat and a clairvoyant, sees the future, sees prophecies, just doing deals with everybody on the block. He's got no loyalties to no one except himself. And everyone in this book is just chasing power, truth, love, and revenge. It is messy. It's a very messy series. I gave this one a 4.75. I still had a really good time. I felt, though, that I couldn't grieve the loss of any characters because I know this has time travel as a possible element in the future. And I'm like, is everything going to be undone? Are all these people going to come back to life? I don't know. So I couldn't feel the gravitas of their deaths, and there were many deaths. This book likes to kill off characters ad nauseum. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in the finale. I don't know where this is going to go. Like I said, the characters are morally great. They are not very good people. But you understand it, okay? You understand they're all coming from, like I said, extreme loss and trauma and grief, and they're just trying to claw back some happiness for themselves. So you understand everybody's motivations, but yeah, boy, oh boy, oh boy, it's just an absolute dogfight. But I had a great time. Missed the sex scenes though. They weren't really in this one because obviously Saffron and Zevon are not on good terms at the moment because of events in book 1. But yeah, we'll continue on with this series. I'm hoping it is just a trilogy. I really am. I just want it to wrap up. I want to know how it's all going to end. I just don't feel like it's going to be a happily ever after. I feel like there's been a trend lately in fantasy books to not have happily ever afters, to have kind of depresso espresso endings where at least one of your darlings will be permanently dead. I've just noticed it more and more in the book world. So I don't know if, like I said, it's a new thing. They're like, yeah, let's not do very typical. You know how I feel like right now? I feel like Jay in Jay's Silent Farm, the Clint Master. Anyway, the next book that I read was Innamorata by Ava Reid. And this was this is a final chance for this author to prove whether or not they are the author for me. Before I tell you about Innamorata, I'll give you all of her books that I've read and what I've rated them so you can see which ones of hers that I liked and which ones of hers I did not like. Okay, so we had A Study in Drowning. What did I even rate that? I think I rated it around a 3. Yes, so that was a 3 stars, just middle of the road. The sequel to that, A Theory of Dreaming, I DNF'd. Didn't like it at all. That was a for me. Same as Fable for the End of the World. Really didn't love that one. That was a 2.75 for me. Beautiful cover. Loved the idea of it. Didn't hit. Then we have Lady Macbeth, which I gave a 3.5. The Wolf and the Woodsman was a 3 stars for me. And the best book that I've read from her is Juniper and Thorn, which was a 4.5 stars. So as you can see, it's a very mixed bag. Juniper and Thorn was my favorite. It was the darkest, and Innamorata is like that, but way darker. So if you did not like Juniper and Thorn, I would stay away from this one. If out of all of Ava Reid's works, Juniper and Thorn was your jam, worth a look. This is worth a look, but prefacing once again, this is dark as shit. So dark, so fucked up. But let me tell you about it. In this book, you have like this gothic necromancy island meets forbidden love. That's the gist of it. Our main character's name is Agnes, and she is a selective mute who is a really just odd, unnerving girl who is carrying her family's death magic, and she is tasked with marrying off her gorgeous cousin to the golden enemy prince for political strategy reasons, and unfortunately she ends up developing feelings for him herself. The yearning, the longing, the chemistry in this is fucking delicious. Oh my God. I was living for this star-crossed, fated, tragic romance from the get-go. And if you know me, you know that if I ship a couple with my whole heart, I will push through anything. So I cannot really give you a good idea of the book as a whole. Because I was reading for these two, and it defies my personal grievances in that I normally hate anything that's cheaty or infidelity-ish. And obviously he's married to her cousin. That is not a love match though. So that's how I'm cool with it. It's not a love match. The cousin doesn't love, her name is Mariotsa, I think it was. Doesn't love the prince doesn't love her. They are forced into this loveless political marriage, and from the first meeting you can tell that the prince, I think his name was Lupron, was obsessed with Agnes and Agnes with him. It was meant to be. From the first, they had only eyes for each other. And what makes it so beautiful is that we've got like these two halves of the book. You've got this first half where Agnes is mute. She is absolutely oppressed by her family. She is in, everything feels grey. Okay, everything feels grey and cold, and everyone remarks about how she just looks like a walking corpse, and that's because she's dead inside. And then along comes this prince, this golden, shining prince who casts his gaze on her, and it's all of a sudden as if the clouds have parted and the sun is shining on her face, and she feels warmth for the first time, and she finally feels seen by someone, and she's basking in that radiance. And with his gaze and his attention and his love and his adoration, she starts to grow, finally. And she starts to find her own voice. And it was beautiful watching her bloom and blossom under the nourishment of his love for her. And he never pressured her to try to speak. He just met her where she was and accepted whatever she was willing to give him. Even though he was always curious for more, he was just fascinated by her and wanted to know her deeply. And like I said, their romance was fucking chef's kiss. They even developed this way of communicating via moths whilst she's still a mute, which reminded me of the Night of the Moth a little bit. But their whole romance and love is just tinged with this bitter sadness and grief, because they know they can never truly be together. They can never show their love in the light. And it sucks. It sucks. This is a very slow gothic novel, so understand that. It is slow going. It's a lot about political machinations. This was very reminiscent of Game of Thrones, with all of these houses tearing each other apart, and the brutal violence and the depravity and the body horror in this. There is some gnarly fucking scenes, guys. Like I said, really messed up shit. Fucked up shit. It was horrific. And just like Game of Thrones, no one is safe. Just because you love a character doesn't mean things are going to end well for them whatsoever. This is the kind of book that leaves you feeling hollowed out after reading it. And you do feel broken, and you do just stare at the wall and you feel like you have died a little bit. And then you find out there's going to be a sequel and you're like, what the fuckity fuck? I didn't realize this was a series. And then we have the ending after everything that happened, and you I was not okay. And then we have the final thing, and I'm like, what is going on? Who is going to be in this sequel, and what is going to be happening? And I don't understand. I'm so angry and I'm so mad. I'm so heartbroken. There are flaws in this, okay? The magic system isn't really explained. So essentially you have this island, I think it's Japan, and you had all these houses and they were in power, and it's like house of teeth, house of eyes, house of blood, house of heart. And a plague came, and the rich people blocked themselves off, and through the dark arts, through witchcraft, they found this magic that enabled them to defy death in a way. I'm not going to say how exactly, but then Seraphines, is that what they're called? It's a very angelic name, came from the mainland to extinguish this darkness, this evil. They did not want these houses to have this unnatural power, and these people are more than human. They're beautiful, and they're stronger, and they're more vital. It seems that they're almost elf-like or angelic-like in their constitution, and they came with their light and their religion, and they decimated the houses, and they took away their knowledge of how to do these rituals, or so they thought, and established their rule. But then eventually most of them left, like the elves leaving Rivendell, went back to their land. Our main king boy, prince, is of their line. So it's this whole do you keep your tradition, or do you follow a new path, a new way of doing things? What is lost when you lose the old ways, but what is gained by the new rituals and ceremonies and traditions of a different way of being? There are so many chess pieces in play in this. It also reminds me of another book. I can't remember it. It's a little bit of Nettle and Bone as well, but there's something else that's quite similar to, but it escapes me at this point in time. There's so many betrayals, so many. Some of them you can see coming and some of them you can't, and it's just so sad. It was like a knife in my gut. But yes, the magic system, I didn't quite understand it. I didn't quite understand how it works and what they're doing. It was very heavy in the beginning, so a bit exposition dumpy, and then it's sort of, you forget all about that and it's just about the love and the political stuff, and then the magic is still, it comes back into the picture at the end of the book. But just, there were a lot of things too that reminded me of Lord of the Rings in this book as well. The king, the gluttonous king, I think they call him the glutton, no, they call him the sluggard. He's just given into the vice of gluttony, and it's quite disgusting. It reminds me also, is it Jabba the Hutt? Reminded me of him visually. But yeah, in this book, I guess love is a sin. And I had to give it 5 stars, but I'm angry about it. I'm so angry about it. It just, it was a lot. And I still haven't moved on. Like, I'm still stuck in those final chapters, which was like, oh, I don't want this to be happening. I was like doing my EFT tapping, like I'm like, oh, like, please. Oh, it was full on. It was full on. I have ordered myself a pretty copy to put it on my shelf, and I've noticed that the end pages are sort of replications or reimaginings of some classical arts. You've got, these are the pictures in the book, and these are based on these paintings, but this one of the knight and the maiden is the epitome of yearning and longing and forbidden love, and that is the vibe in this book. But it is, yeah, very Games of Thrones, like I said, with the depraved violence. It's heavy, it's full on, but it had me riveted. I read it in one go, and it's a big boy, and I just had to know, and I wish I didn't know. It is knowledge I wish I did not have. I would rather be in ignorance and bliss than know the dark, heavy truth. I'm no longer an innocent. I have been tainted. But I will read now anything Ava Reid picks up. Look, they're an author, obviously, that is hit and miss, but it's worth it for the hits, you know. I think, obviously, I especially like her darker stuff, which I don't know what that says about me, but she hurts you in a way that kind of feels good, but also does not. Does not. You're like, stop, mama, stop, but it feels so good, but stop. That was a 5-star read. That was a 5-star read. I think I might read 2 more books for this vlog. I don't know. I might. I may. We'll see. I haven't got anything at the moment. It is a good Easter holiday, so everything is closed until tomorrow, which is Tuesday. So I'll head out tomorrow. Easter, my family's Easter was cancelled this year. A lot of us are sick. Well, not me, not this bitch, but also the petrol stuff. It's just, we all live very far away from each other. We're scattered, me and my family, in all areas of Victoria. So it's a lot of driving whenever we meet up. And we've all just decided we're just not doing it this year, which is really sad. It's sad, but it's understandable. So the war is still going on. There is still a lot of uncertainty, and the cost of living is just astronomical at the moment. But yes, I'll go and get some books. Oh, I actually am reading something at the moment. I just picked up a book. It is definitely what I would consider a get real weird with it book. It is called Good Lord, an Email by Ella Frears, and it is written in the form of one very long email that is addressed to this woman's real estate agent. It says it is a fictional memoir of habitation, a genre-defying novelistic text that beautifully evokes the people and places of our lives, the spaces of work, those that may or may not be home, sites of trauma and ecstasy, and the skewering of the contemporary housing crisis, while questioning fundamental desires, drivers, and disappointments that lie at the heart of our obsession with property. So it is full on at the moment. She is just trauma dumping, oversharing with this real estate agent. Some unfortunate, harrowing but realistic realities of being a single woman, working, trying to live, trying to support yourself, trying to be housed, being around viperous men, and how no matter how hard you try to avoid things like assault, SA, sometimes they eventually get you. So it's interesting. It is a lot. It's got like frenetic energy. Like I said, she's just stream of conscious dumping on this real estate lady, and she's not pulling her punches, and she's being real, and it's gritty, but it's a short book, so I think I just will see it onto its end. So that is, yeah, a Get Real Weird With It book for this vlog, and I'll see you with some more updates. So I made this decaf salted maple latte with the vanilla bean foam. Hello my darlings, let me tell you what I've been up to. So I watched the movie Hoppers with my children. This is about a girl that's trying to save this glade and all the animals from a developer, and she ends up enlisting the help of these scientists who are able to put their consciousness into these robotic animals, and the robotic animals are able to converse and communicate with the real life animals. And so she puts herself into a beaver and goes to the king of the beavers to request help. It was very cute. It just didn't, I don't know, it didn't hit for me as much as Pixar films normally do, but the beaver was the most adorable little thing. I had cuteness aggression watching him, but I gave it a 3.5 stars. Then I finished Good Lord, an Email by Ava Reid. So this is basically one woman absolutely losing her shit when being asked to download an app so that she can sign her lease agreement. She then spirals into this very chaotic, brutally honest, delirious rant about housing, work, sex, and modern life just being really up. So yeah, there was a lot about rental hell and how difficult it is to find housing. Obviously, a lot about capitalism being bleak, absurd, and completely invasive. She asks at the end of the day, who's profiting from me having to download this app just to sign a document? But it was also a lot about rage as survival. There was weird sex stuff in it, I will admit, but a lot of on-page essay. And it was very much about grape culture too. So it kind of reminded me of Elaine Craft's books in that way. The email itself had this very poetic style to it. So I'm going to read you an excerpt so you can see what I mean by that. Pummeled flat, face down, tugged under, tossed about, mouthful of salt and sand. Poseidon, is that you, old friend? A lovely flat line of a summer, and all the concrete dirty talk was kind of hot once you got into it. Volumetric, asphalt, reinforced. Is there letting agent dirty talk, Ava? Are you a cozy one bed? Bet you are. Bet we could jam another occupant or two in at a push. Anyway, I saw this girl from class say that they needed someone to move in last minute, and that was it. I jumped ship, swam off to girl house like the little rat I was. I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars. And then, because I was down about Easter being cancelled, I decided to read some Easter Bunny erotica to cheer myself up. So I read Railed by the Easter Bunny by Dalia, Davies. So this is set in this world that was very reminiscent of American Gods, in that the town was sort of run by this goddess, Esther, or the goddess of Easter, and her descendants. So from her having sex with humans, there were men ruling the town. One of these men, very mafioso, mob boss kind of thing, was the woman's boyfriend, and she decided she wanted to get out, and the only way that she thought she could get out was by appealing to this goddess directly. So she goes to the goddess makes a deal with her. I'll make you the new head of the town if you carry my son's child. She's like, will do. Show me the way to the impregnation station. Let's do this. So she goes and meets the son. The son is a giant jack rabbit. His name is Jack. He's ripped. He's got a giant human schlongdong. And they get straight into it. He deep throats her and fills her up with his marshmallow fluff cum, and then he takes her into his BDSM den. There's a lot of people there watching, and they're all wearing bunny masks, and there's a bit, it's a little bit, tiny bit, dom subby. And they just go to Pound Town, and she gets knocked up, and she's like, peace, I'm gonna take my newly filled up quim and bounce. And he's like, come back anytime, really, no, seriously, come back anytime. She's like, I might do that. This was actually kind of fun. And she goes back to town, and then the book ends, because it turns out this has got very many sequels and shit. It's a series. I didn't realize it was going to be a series. And I'm not going to be reading anymore. It was fine. I've given it a 3. To be honest, it progressed very quickly into obviously the sex, and I just wasn't feeling it. I'm not actually a big fan of the impregnation kink, the breeding kink, so to speak. Not into it that much, so it didn't really do much for me in that respect. And I couldn't get over it whenever they mentioned his big bunny teeth, because he has a fucking rabbit head. So yes, I think Jessica Rabbit would love this, but for me, not so much. But let me tell you now, all the books I read for this reading blog. So The Moon Raven by Grace Draven, which I gave 3 stars. Get that pale dick, sis. But also, work on your communication skills, for fuck's sake. Tear Tracks by Malka and Older, which I gave 3 stars. When Trauma Dumping is a Green Flag. Night We Met by Ava Jimenez, which I gave 4 stars. 2 Boats Passing in the Night, because dude didn't shoot his shot when he should have. Frieren 14 by Kanehito Yamada, which I gave 3.75. Assassins and Reunions. Turncloak by L.K. Stephen, which I gave 4.75. Bro. Innamorata by Ava Reid, which I gave 5 stars. She hasn't spoken in 7 years, but she'll use her tongue for this man. Good Lord, an Email by Ella Frears. I gave this a 3.5 stars. Reply All, but make it female rage. And the last book I read was Railed by the Easter Bunny by Dalia Davies. I gave 3 stars. I don't need a man. I just need a rabbit. And that's everything. If you had to wear a mask, what kind of mask would you wear? I'd probably go Catwoman style. But until next time, stay wild, Star Child.